Hey guys. So Danielle's decided she's going to make something today, so I got to help. This is one of our. What's this plate from? Is this the mystery? This is just a.
No, it's. I don't. Is there a number on the back of it?
No, yeah, number 139. So this is a really cool plate, and once again, it's got fine detail. So when you go to do this, first you're going to anneal your metal, then you're going to polish it clean, okay? And you're going to sandwich it on here. So let's give this a try. And if you're using silver, practice on copper first. Because I swear, if I get a phone call, I never used one before, and then the first time I tried it, I wrecked $500 worth of silver. I've actually taken that call. And I'm like, so what about all the times you practice? Well, I just practiced on all my good silver, and now it's all wrecked. Good. Okay. So, practicing on copper. Now, I've said this before. So my mill, like when I turn my mill to take up the slack in the roll, man. So when I turn this, this is a Mario de Mayo. It's an MDM. It's different than a Durston or a Cavalier. My gear ratio is different. The thread pitch is different. So when I say I turn mine after I've taken up all the slack, man, that just feels weird. Okay, but it's down. So we're about here, about the same position again. I'm going to turn this all the way around so I can pull my metal out again. You may have a different. Your thing is going to end up in a different position. The amount that you advance it will be different than mine. Okay? So, there we go. 1, 2. All right, there we are. We're back. So I'm going to go. Go about there, half a turn. It's a little light. I didn't go tight enough. But we will try another piece of metal. See, if I had to use like $200 worth of silver, I'd be like, oh, it doesn't work. So let's do it again. I'm going to actually go a little tighter. There we go. Where's that other piece of copper?
Oh, I wanted it on that other plate. Well.
So once again, we have pre-polished our metal. I'm going to try it again. I tightened it up a little further. So let's see what it does. Better. So you can see this one's better.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm curious. I'm going to try something. I'm going to roll this thinner, and let's try that.
What do you mean?
And then we'll go tighter with it. So I'm going to just take this thing. We're going to take this down. So we're at 18 gauge. I want to go a little thinner.
Is there at 16?
Yeah. If you don't have one of these, you should get one. It's called a gauge. This one was made by the Starrett Company, Athol, Mass. If you ever get to go to Athol, Mass, it's worth a trip. It's a pretty cool place. A little bit more. We'll go to 20 gauge. There we go. So you can see we are definitely, I didn't anneal, I just went for it, which is fine.
Wait, what side had the pattern on it?
Oh, I got rid of it. I obliterated
just by, okay.
Because we're going to actually try to roll this a little tighter. Is anybody watching this shenanigans?
16 people.
Holy smokes. Alright. So the next step, I'm going to anneal it. That's kind of important. Don't let me forget I said it right there. I love having an audience. That way they can tell me where I left something. Because I should have someone just film me all the time so I can find things. My poor kid has the same problem as me. We spend most of our days walking around looking for things. When you anneal your metal, it's going to give you a better result.
So why did you want a thinner gauge?
I want to try it. That's about it. Just curiosity, because yesterday when I did the dragon, I got pretty good results with 22 gauge, which really surprised me. I'll be the first to admit if I've made a bonehead mistake. Believe me, I make plenty of them.
I gotta keep twisting and turning.
Yeah, sorry. Alright, so let's go polish this thing because it's all oxidized. If you guys don't have one of these rubber wheels, let me show you what it is. 3M makes them. I think Rio sells them. They're great. It's called compressed Scotch-Brite is what it is. It's just like a rubber wheel, like just same kind of thing you put in your flex shaft. They're just bigger. And it's awesome. Watch this. This thing is really soft. There we go. It's pretty good. Let's go give this a whirl. Alright, here we go. Gonna bring it down. So there's our position. I'm going to go back one turn.
Oops, sorry.
Pull it out, bring it forward. And then this time I'm going to put this over there. Hopefully that's not too far. Let's see what we get.
He's working on rolling a pattern on 20 gauge. copper to see about the depth of the
So that
image.
turned out very nice.
Yeah.
I think what had a bigger effect on it was the amount I annealed it, more so than anything else. But that looks really good.
Yeah, it does. Whoops, just got blurry.
Yeah, but once again, we're not talking about super deep. It's mostly you're just trying to get a be able to see it. It's like wallpaper is what it is essentially. It's wallpaper. Anyway, that turned out nice. So let's get another chunk of metal and let's do this one. I'm gonna. How thick do you want it? What are you making?
No, we're gonna do.
You
Want
gonna
to
make
make
Rudolphs
an
or something?
ornament? Yeah.
Okay, then these are plenty thick. So let's. What I'll do, I'm gonna roll this pattern away, and then we will.
We'll use the Black Friday plate.
Yep. Let me show you guys something. Come on in close. A lot of you guys worry about the condition of your rolls. I get emails and messages literally every day. These rolls, when I got this machine, were completely rusted. And they were pitted. Let me see if we can get it from another. So take a look at that. So see this? My rolls are very pitted. And I just cleaned the rust off. I can totally regrind these things, but it's not necessary. And yes, they will leave a little texture on your metal, but those of you who've bought old rusty rolling mills, don't agonize over it. Just clean the flaky stuff off and run them. They're beautiful for using. You can run all kinds of stuff through them without any fear. And that's what we do here. Because I know that if I put a mirror finish on these things, I guarantee you, one of my pudding heads is going to roll something horrific through it. So, we're going to just go with it. I'll show you what the effect is on these. I'll show you what the pattern, it'll leave a pattern. But it's not that big a deal because most of the things that we do, they have to be polished anyway. I mean, if you're going to hammer on it, press it, it's not going to matter. Because I see this constantly, the people polishing their rolls, and it's not that big a deal. Here, take a look. That's the pattern it leaves. See the little...
Oh, that's from the rust?
Yeah, those are the pits. That's the pitting. And it's really not that big a deal. At least to me. Being, you know, this rolling mill, I got this on eBay. A mill like this new is over $20,000. Used, they usually sell for about $9,000 to $10,000. But because the rolls were all rusty on it, yeah, I got it for $500. And
when?
You're the one who paid the bill.
Oh,
it was like about a year. It was maybe 2-3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I bought it on eBay. I watched it and I was like, why isn't anyone buying this? Because I figured someone would be calling me going, Kevin, there's this amazing mill, but it's rusty. Can you regrind it for me? I just bought it and I didn't even regrind it. We just got the rust off of it. That's all I did. And we've been using it. Well, you've seen it in tons of videos. We run it daily. I was just rolling some 18 karat white gold for a guy this morning in it. So we're going to roll up a piece, see what it looks like.
Mary Caldwell said she's grateful that you make educational demonstrations because she's still learning how to use the tools.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I see people agonizing over stuff. It's just not, don't agonize. I'm going to try to do a whole bunch of demonstration videos this year, or
Next year.
next year. We're gonna get a setup and for filming, and I'm gonna coerce Annie and Lynette into it, and I'll do some obviously as well.
Yeah, to make projects
Yeah, we're
regularly.
gonna make projects. So let's clean this piece up. Cut it to length so I don't spend a lot of time cleaning something that's not going to be clean.
Art school background makes you agonize.
I've noticed that. I've watched a bunch of. I mean, I got a degree in painting, but I don't know. I didn't agonize too much. I always liked it when our professor would make us paint over our paintings. And I remember him saying, "No one here made anything good. Nothing here is worth saving. I'm sparing you all a bunch of embarrassment. Get out the paint and paint over this thing. Besides, none of you can, it's not worth, you didn't even make anything that's worth the paint." So, I see people in the painting department that they'd be buying these expensive brushes and all this really expensive paints. And I remember our professor seeing this lady had bought, like, you know, sable brushes and everything, and he's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Well, I want good equipment." And he's like, "Why?" And then he left it at that. And everyone, it really dawned on me. At a certain point, you know, you buy what you can afford and don't stress. All right, where did I put that? There we go. So.
Okay, let's show the plate first.
Oh yeah, we buffed off the.
And the plate.
Oh yeah. So this is our very fine detail plate. So we've been making a lot of these because they're really cool. I like the scale of the depth and the decoration. It's okay. There we go. Again, you run it in there. All right, so we're all the way down. I'm going to just hang on to this and remember that it goes over here. There. And I'm going to take it all the way to here again. So we're going to go, hopefully that's enough. I think it is. We'll find out. Ow! There it is. There's your design.
Looks nice.
Yeah, looks really good. A little patina and this thing will really pop. And yeah, if that lady had bought this plate, oh my gosh, she'd have lost her mind. The dragon's pretty deep compared to these. But what we're trying to create is patterns that are scaled to jewelry. So again, let's I've got a whole sample board from Millard Wire that's beautiful, and it shows all these delicate patterns, and none of that stuff's available anymore. The only way you can get it is either we roll it off on one of these rolls, which will involves Vincent. And as you know, Vincent, he's going to college. Someday, if he decides to quit college and just come work, he's majoring in painting and printmaking. But if he just decides to come here and roll print for the rest of his life, which I'm hoping. Anyway.
They're asking about that wheel. It's not felt. What did you say it was?
Compressed Scotch-Brite.
Oh, okay.
It's called compressed Scotch-Brite. So you can get them, that's what they're, if you look, because if you just start, I don't know, Googling random things about grinding wheels and polishing wheels, you won't get the right thing. But it's called compressed Scotch-Brite. And they're not cheap, but they last a long time. And you can use gold and silver and steel. Like for polishing stakes and hammers, Oh yeah. Here, let's do that real quick. Let's polish a hammer. I'll show you how awesome a finish you can get on a piece of steel. That's how I used to polish these steaks when I was insane. So let's take a look at this hammer. This is a sweet hammer too. See how the face is all kind of dinged up? Which is totally normal. I should talk about that. People think that their hammer should be so hard that it won't get a dent in it. That's not correct. You don't want a hammer that's 60 Rockwell. I prefer the hammer faces to be soft so that you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen it when you're trying to hammer something and your hammer is just sliding off the punch and then things are just slipping around. Well, it's not you, it's your hammer. And the reason some of these companies that make hammers make them so hard is because they get tired of hearing people complain about how their hammer face is not shiny. So you get these companies that go, okay, screw it, we're just going full hard with the hammer face. It's just barbaric. So take a look. It's doing a great job. Just a quick little buff. So we can get this thing looking beautiful. They make smaller wheels for this, so you don't have to buy as large a one as we got. It's a neat way to polish because it's not super aggressive, but we can get it really nice. And then we'll polish it on the other thing. We're all full of educational tips today. But yeah, you want your hammer face to be somewhere in the high, you know, low, mid 40s is really nice. That's kind of where I like them.
Mid 40 what?
Rockwell?
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it hasn't taken that long. You can still see a couple little things in it, but there you go. So we'll go make it mirror shine. Like let's say you're doing a planishing hammer or something. If you're planishing out silver or something, you want it nice and shiny. Ooh. Someone should move those damn things. We gotta get those out of here. Someone's gonna kill themselves. Okay. And now we'll make it mirror. You never want to cross-contaminate your wheels, guys. I'm not the tidiest polishing area, but I try. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And you see that it didn't take any time at all. But if you didn't have that 3M compressed Scotch-Brite wheel, yeah, you'd be in hell. Because first thing people do is they get out their file and they try to file this, and then they tear up their file. Then they try their sanding stick, and the sanding stick will get it, but it leaves scratches in it. And then you got to buff the scratches out with finer and finer grits of sandpaper, and then you give up. But 3M compressed Scotch-Brite wheel, you can make, I can see it now, everybody's pliers, everybody's tools are going to look like mirrors. They'll be like, I polish my pliers on it. Oh, another cool tip while we're here. This is very important. Because, see, even me, people take my flush cutters. They always take my flush cutters. I used to have a bunch of them here, and I don't know where they've gone. We're down to the dregs. But like these, you can sharpen them on that wheel and buff them up. And you can even make your own flush cutters. Because what they do is they charge you a ton of money for flush cutters. Let's go. I actually made a pair the other day. A big pair. Because these flush cutters, as you all know, they get broken. And I see constantly people crying about their busted flush cutters. So here's a pair I made yesterday. You take a regular pair. I know I didn't use my other pair. Here's another pair. So what you do, imagine, these aren't flush cutters, but imagine, see that bevel? This is what stops them from cracking. Oh, here we go. Here's the correct pair. I just belt sanded them down till we had flush cutters. Can you guys see it? Same pair of pliers. These are just not flush cutters. They do this because they're stronger this way. But we needed something like this that'll cut flush. And I'm not about to go spend, you know, the $150. Because my guys are using these to cut steel. To cut little parts off. You can see where they see the front. They've already caved it in. But you can make your own flush cutters very easily. And the biggest trick is do not overheat them. Do not turn them blue because that'll take the temper out of them, and then they'll be soft. So when you do it, you're going to want to have water nearby, and then you'll just sand and polish until you've got a pair of flush cutters. Actually, I better go put these back, or someone will go digging in my toolbox. I finally got my own toolbox. Pretty sweet. I usually can blame someone for taking my tools now. Anyway. So is there anything else anybody had a question on?
Mary Caldwell said, so are you taking from Tripoli to Crocus to polish the hammer face?
Just I went Tripoli to the green stuff, which is just basically it's a platinum rouge, I guess is what you'd call it. I just like the green. You can buy it in red too. It's not that critical. Not that critical. As you can see, I got a pretty good polish, and I didn't really try very hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was fast.
And this is pretty hard steel. This is in the 40s. So, yeah, I just used Tripoli and this. You can get a whole bunch. I see a lot of companies make a lot of money selling lots of different polishing things. And it's totally possible to go nuts. Like you could do all these different steps. But for most of our uses, mine included, 2 steps. Tripoli to rouge. All of Danielle's rings were polished that way. I didn't buy any exotic polishes. I didn't go at them with diamond paste. I didn't use any diamond wheels and stuff and diamond laps. I just used standard polishing stuff. And these things are, a cake of this stuff is literally, I think it's like maybe a couple bucks. This used to be this big. It was like a 5-pound brick. I bought it at a bumper polishing place. There's a chrome place here in town that sells polishing supplies. And it's basically bricks of the cheapest polishing compound money can buy. And that's literally what this stuff is. I literally paid maybe $1, $2 for this stuff. It's very inexpensive. What's funny is this is the same stuff pretty much, except this is like a special platinum polish that you get out of New York City, and it comes in a special little box from Switzerland. And I probably paid a lot of money for it, but this works just as well. And I know there's people losing their mind right now going, ah!
Do you know if the Fordham polisher would do a good job better than a flex shaft?
Oh, the Fordham
The
bench
Fordham
polisher?
polisher, yeah.
Yeah, it'll work the same. It'll do a good job. It'll do a good job. It just might take a little longer. The only reason we have these big motors is simply because we do big parts. And but for jewelry scale and small hammers and punches, a tiny buffer is all you need, and it's much safer. The only reason I have these is because we do big stuff. Yeah. So I actually prefer, when I was a goldsmith for most of my life, I didn't use a big buffer motor like this. I had a quarter horsepower one that I could actually stall. I could grab a hold of the spindle and stop the machine with my bare hands, because you don't need a lot of horsepower. And especially if you catch a chain or a piece of jewelry in there, you don't want to have so much horsepower that it'll rip your hand off. I saw that once. It was terrible. Well, the guy didn't lose his hand. He just lost some fingers. It was terrible. Yeah. I think I wrote a blog about it. It was bad. Anyway, anybody else got any questions? I might have an answer.
Not so far.
Cool. Well, all right, guys. That's it for today. So that's how you use these plates, because you'll be seeing more of them coming up. Mostly because I really like them. We're thin crust pizza over here, guys. New York style. Thin crust.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.